Yeah, you've been a great man to me and our family, so just want to say thank you. No stories except for, well, yeah, I got one, I guess.
Okay, let's hear it.
We had a problem with the deck, and this guy come over and he replaced every beam by himself. And this was only, what, 6, 7 years ago, maybe. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So, but we appreciate it, Roger. Happy birthday.
Roger's a badass deck builder.
Yeah.
I would say.
Okay, well, I moved up here bought the house in '05. So I've known Roger for a number of years, and he has been amazing as far as helping with the airport. Using all, he used to have a backhoe and dug trenches up there to divert the water. In fact, trusted me to sit in the backhoe when he was in the bucket. I thought that was a lot of faith, because I've never done that before, but he did. And I hoisted him up while he trimmed some trees. So, yeah.
Roger, I'm going to interrupt you. He practiced with us kids. He practiced that with me and Wes.
Is that right?
We were in the bucket.
Oh, you were in the bucket.
And he lifted us up.
Well, the amazing part to me was he was in the bucket.
I don't know. We're doing something. Something. You got a thrill out of it, though, I can tell you that.
But anyhow, yeah, he's just been amazing. And it wasn't that long ago he helped clear out all this area down here. So up till very recently, Roger's been probably one of the main people helping keeping this airport going. So thank you, Roger. It's great. We sure appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Howard, and known Roger for, ever since I moved up here in the airport in 1998, and had many different things that Roger and I got to do, but one of them was rafting the Tatshenshini River. Just 4 of us went. We just did it. We guided ourselves and spent about 7 or 8 days on the river, culminated by watching icebergs turn over right in front of us.
Wow.
It was pretty exciting. I think Roger thought we were crazy doing this, but it ended up to be quite a trip.
That's awesome. If anybody wants to see the video, it's called Rafting the Tat. It's right there in the TV room. Great video.
Yeah,
filming.
It was quite a trip. The takeout was close to the ocean, and we had our airplanes positioned, one of them over there, and we got all this gear out of there, and these people from Germany were watching us do this and asking us, well, where's the gear going to go in those? We got those 2 airplanes. No way. we got everything in.
And you were not overweight?
Who knows? We started out by going to Haines and going up the Haines highway to where it actually, you change, you're in Canada, but there were no stations there, so you could just do whatever you wanted. So our put-in was actually in Canada, and stayed in Canada until we got all the way down the river, until we got to the takeout. Yeah, it was pretty good trip.
Beautiful.
Anyway, and we were, the 4 of us had a nice time, and I'm sure Roger can remember some of that.
Who are the other 2 guys?
It was Jim Moore and Wally Bestian.
Okay.
And myself and Roger.
Okay.
This one's one of the funniest. Roger has always been right on it when something broke in the house or whatever. We'd call him up, and if we couldn't fix it ourselves, Roger'd come right over. Well, this one time, there was a water problem, and it was determined by NID that it was Roger's problem that was on the property. So he's like, well, I'm going to bring the backhoe over, and, we'll dig this pipe up and take care of it. So I'm thinking, okay, he's going to bring a little, John Deere tractor with a little bucket on it. So I'm usually home because I'm an artist and I work at home. And he comes over with this piece of construction equipment. It could have been on, like, I-80.
Big old backhoe.
I was like, Andy, you don't believe what's here. It was one of the funniest things I ever saw. I was like, oh my God, he brought a back of this, like, huge thing. And he's putting the feet down. And, well, that's one of the stories. And Andy can tell another one.
Roger loved his backhoe.
Okay, so another day we wake up in the morning and there's water all over the garage. This is when we were first moved here. We've been at Aileen Way since 2009. And I think it was maybe a year later, maybe less. And that's our first major problem. It's like we had no hot water and Andy goes in the garage and there's water all over the floor. And we call up Roger and we both go out. And I was home at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We had a brand new hot water heater. And we said, well, we won't be moving from here anytime soon.
Hello, everyone. I'm Paul Enneking, my wife Alexandria. Known Roger since I did the math, 48 years. 1976, I went to work for Somas as a land surveyor right out of college, and Roger was the party chief and the field crew that I worked with. And he was my primary trainer and a mentor, and became a close friend. I became a pilot largely because of Roger. One of the stories I remember, most of you probably heard the story of Roger's unfortunate meeting with the power wires over Folsom Lake near Horseshoe Bar. And they've since put those big orange balls on, which we refer to as Roger's balls. Too bad they didn't have them before. But not long after that, Roger had I don't know, you broke your back, your neck, or neck, and excuse me, had a halo drilled into his skull with these points sticking up. And we still lived in Southern California, and we flew up here to visit, landed at the airport here, and took Roger for I think it was his first time in a plane since the crash. And I remember having a heck of a time, you getting in the plane, folding yourself in because the points of the halo kept hitting the door. But we went and flew out over the valley, and he took the controls and flew. So that was pretty fun. Then another thing I remember is early on, I had flown up, and I was so enthralled with this area, having grown up in the LA area, that I bought a lot on Aileen Way. And it was referred to by Pamela as Paul's P.O., poison oak, because I never did anything with it. It was just a slope covered with poison oak. But after Roger's accident, we had a conversation, and he said, "Hey, you never did anything with that lot." And I said, "Yeah, you want to buy it?" And he bought it, and he says, "Yeah, I'll buy it, and I'll build a house because I can't really do anything else now with this halo on." So he built a house while he was recovering with a broken neck.
They live in.
Yeah. So that was a couple of stories with Roger. Roger's been an awesome time knowing you. You've been a good friend and a good work partner as well.
Thank you.
And had a lot of adventures: houseboating, water skiing, snow skiing, river rafting. Can't even think of everything.
All of it.
And I lived through it, most of it anyway. Do you have anything, Alex?
I just wanted to say happy birthday and how much fun I've had knowing you and your family, and houseboating and coming up for the day, and you'd put a bunch of rafts in the back or on the top, whatever, and Pamela would make sandwiches, and we'd go to some lake and spend the day and have just a really good time, and those are real special memories I value, and thank you.
Thank you.
Well, one more quick one that reminded me of is we went for the day on the Yuba. Is it the Yuba River right by Marysville.
Yes.
And
Southport,
in
Louisville.
rafting, and Roger had 2 jet skis, 2 stand-up jet skis back in the day, and he was. I'd ridden him before, but it wasn't as good as Roger was. So he and I were riding up the river and going under the bridge that goes like between Marysville and Yuba City, and I had to fall in behind Roger because it was a narrow area under the bridge piers, and I hit the wake and fell off right under the bridge. There was nothing but broken concrete and rebar sticking out. And fortunately, I didn't hurt myself. But when I fell, the handlebars came down, and this is the kind that had a finger throttle like that. And the handlebars turned, and I must have yanked the throttle, and it was down. It was facing down, and when the handlebars came down, it hit the top of the gunnel and put the power on full instead of idling like they're supposed to, and it turned about 45 degrees and started heading for the shore. And Roger's ahead of me, and he looks back and goes, he's finding what happened to Paul, and he turns around, and I'm standing in the middle of the river, and the jet ski is going on its own towards the shore, and ended up hitting a guy that was sitting on a market basket, turned over. He was sitting on it fishing, and the thing went all the way up the beach and center punched the shopping cart, broke his fishing pole in half, and the guy just barely got out of the way. Anyway, we went up, shut it off, and pulled it back, and yeah, I sent the guy a check for his fishing pole.
Roger's my big brother. I was 7 or 8 when this happened. We lived. He had a motorcycle when in high school, or maybe when you went in the Marines, or I can't remember. But you took me for a ride on the San Diego freeway. Before it was built, they had just put, the rock and stuff down, and it was. I just remembered that going on the back of his motorcycle, and we're going on this gravel road and stuff. All that. It was years ago. It just.
You were 8?
Yeah, because I was, he's.
You're a baby and he's taking you on a motorcycle.
Yeah, he was 10 years older than me. Yeah. And I remember him going to the Marines and coming home one day, and he said, "You want to learn how to hand-to-hand combat?" Because Mom had some tubes that some drapes came in or something, and he wanted to show me how to do that. So it was interesting being his little sister.
The only thing I can say is that I have to thank Roger for having a wonderful daughter who has a wonderful son who's my kitty sitter.
Yeah, yay!
My husband said Roger is the kindest person he's ever met, and I believe that. I'm so grateful he's Corbin's grandfather and taught him a lot that we couldn't. And I was just remembering the summer Roger took me around the lakes on the, what do you call them, ski-doos. And I was taught you don't make waves on lakes. And we made our circuit as fast as you could do it. And afterward, Roger said, "Oh, I've got my speed quota for the day." Okay. And that's one of the Rogers I know. So, happy birthday, Roger. We got everybody?
Him as my grandpa. He's very creative with the fun toys and stuff. Taking us on the quad in like the snow up the airport when we were children, and he's got the jet skis and the boat he used to have, It's a lot of fun.
I think Roger has definitely had an affinity for jet skis over his lifetime, and I think I've inherited some of it, although it's been a while since I got to ride one. But I think one of my most memorable jet ski memories is we were at Lake Rollins on the old, was it?
The Polaris.
Yeah, the Polaris. Yeah. And he put me at the controls for the first time. He was behind me, and man, I just went straight for the throttle, like hammered it, and almost dumped him off the back. And so after that, he was a little bit more careful about holding on and being prepared. So that was pretty wild. So, yep.
I remember one of the fun things we did a long time ago, Roger and Pamela, when they first got that cordless electric leaf blower, he said, let's do something fun with it. And so we took a cat carrier and put it on a furniture dolly. And then we tied the leaf blower to the top, and we made a video that made it look like we sent the cat down the driveway and with the powered leaf blower.
We have that video in there. Too.
Yeah, we have the video.
Mama Kitty, the little gray kitty.
No, it was scanned.
Oh, it was scanned?
No, it was Mama Kitty.
No, it was Mama Kitty.
It was her.
It was scanned because we had the stuffed animal that was the same color.
I don't know. We might have done both, but Mama Kitty's in the video.
Mama Kitty's in the video.
Yeah. So yeah, he videoed all that and created the movie, and
yeah,
we really didn't hurt the cat.
A couple years ago, we went to the Moon Rocks, and one of the things that Roger wanted to do was look for the eagle's nest. So we rode up there, and it's like this kind of tilt up there, and we finally got up there, and I think it was probably about a 12 diameter that the eagle's nest was.
Huge nest.
Yes. But anyway, on the way coming down, we were all scared. Not him, but all of us. We were just, because it was leaning. Anyway, that's what I got.
It was steep, and it's a Jeep trail that's a switchback, and it's on the side of the hill, and it's really narrow. And not only that, it's not like, the trail is not level like a road. It's sand, and it's bump, and it's crevice from water running down it. And these guys, Sam and Spencer Corbin, on their motorcycles, and Sam and Spencer just started riding. And then me and Leela on me and Jim's quad. And then Roger and, wait, who was on, was he by himself? Am I missing somebody?
It was Leela and you on this.
Oh, no, it's me and you on the quad, and Leela was on the quad with Roger.
Oh,
that's
right.
how it was.
You're right.
And yeah, he's been up to the Eagle's Nest so many times, and this is Moon Rocks out of air sailing. And it's up high and in the what are those mountains? What are those mountains called? Those hills, the bald hill. I forget. Anyways,
Moon Rocks.
Moon Rocks. No, but the hills where the this Eagle's Nest is, and the Eagle's Nest is across the way, and it's quite a ways over there on this cliff. It's on the side of a cliff, and there's like a big boulder sticking out of this cliff, and this giant, like he said, 12-foot wide, gigantic eagle's nest. Dogskins, yes. And these are golden eagles?
Golden eagles.
Golden eagles, so they're pretty big. And so he soared over that nest with the golden eagles. Because that's where they fly. And then that's where they were with their gliders, right there in the desert. Yeah, so...
But you never see it until you got like within 100 feet of it.
Yeah, you got to be up there, and man, that was terrifying. So me and Leela, like, how did we do that? Where is she? How did we get down?
The the same way we came up.
Me and Leela got off and walked.
That's right.
You drove the quad, he drove his quad, and me and her said, oh, hell no. We are just like walking down this hill. And then the boys, oh my God, they were so badass. They were just like doing it. And poor Sam was riding the 125 that like wouldn't idle. It would not idle. It would die. So he had to keep it revving going down the steep hill with the sand and the crooked and, you know, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. This is the adventures that weekend was crazy and fun. We used to fly to Cedar City, and sometimes we did it on Thanksgiving instead of going to Grandma and Grandpa Harris's. We'd fly to go skiing for the weekend, and I thought I was the coolest girl in my school because I was the only one with a pilot dad that I knew of, and we got to fly to Utah to ski. So anyway, 11 years old was when we started. I was 11, so Wes was like 6. We had our first lesson skiing, and Wes just took off down the hill like fucking bat out of hell, just like Corbin with the throttle on the Polaris, just goes. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm okay, but I'm going slow. So we ski for a few years, but right away, Roger says, let's learn how to ski in the powder. And let's go between the trees, off the trail. Sometimes there's a trail from somebody else going between the trees, and the powder in this one particular situation was like 5 feet deep on the side of the hill between the trees. And if you fall over, you're not getting out on your own. So what did I do? I caught an edge and I fell over on the downhill side in the powder, literally up to my waist. And so he called me out. He pulled me out, and we kept going, and I didn't quit skiing. I kept going. The next thing he did was says, okay, now we're going to go down the face. That face right there. Black diamond. Straight down. Wes says, okay, I'm going. Off he goes. Oh my God. Well, he was little. You don't break things when you're little, you roll or something. I don't know. Anyways, I went very slow, zigging, zagging, and I don't think I did that one ever again. But he had a great time laughing, and my mom just laughing, going, Roger, what have you gotten us into? Anyway, that was a good one. So the airplane accident, it was in 1984, and he had his halo brace on, and I just happened to have had a wedding planned. He came to my wedding in a halo brace, and it was just beautiful. He gave me away walking down the aisle in the church I grew up in. As my mom drove him down there so he could give me away. And yeah, now I ride motorcycles because of him. He used to give us rides on the Goldwing. And one time on the way over to the tiger tail lot that he bought, they were going to build on, but it's way the hell out there, and it had to have a well, and he bought it and decided not to build and sold it eventually. That was the Poison Oak lot. Anyway, we went on the Goldwing one time over there, and when you turn left onto it, there's like a little bit of sandy gravel, you know, in the triangle in the middle of the road, and he hit that, and it slid, and he slid, and he pulled that thing back up and did not dump us. And he was my hero. And I don't know if it was that day or a different day. It must have been a different day. We were clearing Poison Oak. We were standing on the side of the hill, and it's a steep hill, and he was eating a sandwich, and he choked. Like he literally inhaled his bite, and he couldn't breathe. And the hands went up, the classic choke. And thank God I had taken a CPR class. And so I got up on the hill behind him, and and I did the Heimlich, and he did this and put my hand, he pulled my hand and said again, did like again, signaled again, and I did it as hard as I could do it, and that sandwich went flying out down the hill. Oh my God. That was terrifying. Like my dad could have died that day.
He could have died a lot of days.
He could have died a lot of days. Man.
Well, it does say something about as all the adventures that you've done, Roger, that you're one very talented person.
Well, thank you.
He is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We made these videos of antics here at the airport. And Roger was my cameraman, and I ended up being, we hired, or didn't hire, but what was Rich Balke, Bill Balke was our talent. And we'd made this spoof video of a lady getting stuck in an airplane, and he hand propped it, because this is how you started airplanes in the old days, is you hand started it. And she got stuck in the airplane and it flew off without her, and then a biplane rescued her, and we got all these different things, and Roger was the cameraman for it, and I was the pilot in it, and we just had a ball making this thing, and we made it all look black and white, and had some special effects in it that nobody knew about that made it look like it was more dangerous than it was. And she wasn't really in the airplane, and the airplane wasn't really close to the guy that was running in front of it, but it was just such a fun thing to work on, and to see the different things that Roger would do with the videos and cameras and the gliders and things like that. It was just such a thrill to be able to do that. And then he of course, I didn't own a backhoe at that time, and Roger like talked me into borrowing his or something, and I just like started learning about backhoes, and then I went out and bought one, and he handed me this old 1973 book on how to use a backhoe. And it was like, this was the best book ever. It showed you how to jump ditches, it showed you how to cross over things and how to dig a straight line and all these things. So he mentored me in backhoeing and learning how to dig trenches.
Just remember, Roger was always really nice to us and nice to be around. I mean, we moved up here and we didn't know any people, and as you get to know everybody, and it's like he was always really helpful, like Chris said, helping them. And half the time Chris was building things, and it was like, oh, I'm borrowing Roger's scaffolding, or I'm borrowing Roger's backhoe, and he was just, so generous with all his tools, which I know a lot of people don't like to lend their tools, but I mean, he was just very generous and made us feel like welcome, almost, like airport family. It was always very special to be with Roger, because he just, still is a wonderful person. Thank you, Roger.
We were over here one holiday. Kids were still in school. And I'm sitting next to Roger on the couch telling him about this project I'm working on, which is a study of the Deer Creek watershed. And so I've got like a drone guy coming out and doing some stuff, and I'm doing a lot of hiking. Bonnie and the kids are going and helping with the whole project. And so I'm telling Roger, and he goes, oh, we could fly. It's like, what? And so he gets Howard. He plans all the trips. We go for 4 seasons. He's got the whole thing. He had to research like the special flying around Beale Air Force Base.
Flight planning for this project is completely different than ones I've done in the past. A lot of flying I've done was gathering engineering data, and this one is closer to a scenic flight. My first interest probably stimulated by my 2 hobbies, being videography and flying, and this puts them both together. In this case, we had to fly a strict route that would cover the subject of a zigzagging creek, not being able to see it from the airplane. We had to fly at a particular altitude. That is above the creek itself, because it's sloping, at a particular speed, so it presented smoothly. A complication of the sloping along that creek. The creek falls about 3,000 feet from the 22.5 miles that we were actually filming. And so you had to maintain this altitude and a constant speed to be able to give it a good presentation. But the route was the biggest part, and then, you know, GPS is the best thing to help that with.
4 seasons we did this, and Roger, every single time, he had cameras on the wing, on the wheels, on the front, inside. And then I get all this footage, and I was like, wow, you know, just incredible leap forward on this project. It's one of the things I'm most proud of doing in my life.